Hi, it's Melinda Kunst. How are you doing tonight? I am your hostess of Hope When There Was None. This is my page here that I created. It's been almost 2 years now. I created the page originally to share my story, but also to inspire and hopefully help others that are trapped in an emotional trauma type of relationship or just have had a bad experience in the past to help heal and also, again, help as a community and a group to help heal and get that healing going. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of healing. So that was my purpose of that. And it's also a prompting from the Lord to help share my story, get this word out. I'm getting a little tired, so I'm getting a little loopy. Sorry about that. So today, finding self-worth. So what is self-worth exactly? Self-worth is important. The definition of self-worth is a sense of one's own value or the worth of a person. It's also considered self-esteem and self-respect. So I could honestly say that I didn't have a lot of self-respect, a lot of self-esteem, a very high self-esteem for myself when I started my journey a little over 10 years ago. I didn't have anything in my own for my self-image that was positive. I saw myself with those ugly words that my ex used, and they were just very horrible. It made me feel very ashamed. It made me feel, and I've mentioned this before, it just made me feel so small and so little. I didn't think I would ever measure up to anything or do anything because I just kept having this negative chatter in my head. So I just shared, going back here, I just shared a link inviting anybody that would like to come on to this broadcast now. You're more than welcome to come on in. You can comment. I'd love to hear any input that you have. So you can share the page with me. I can invite you in as a guest. I don't even have to put you on if you don't want to. You can come in without video. You're more than welcome to do that. But if you want to share maybe a bit of your story, maybe you have a comment or suggestion that you'd like to go live with me, you're more than welcome to do so. I invite you to. And so let's get back to self-worth here. This has just been something I've heard about, self-esteem and so on. I've been kind of harping on that. I do have a Hope When There Was None group. I don't want to say nag, but I do come on from time to time and invite my members there to do something to help them, whether it's mirror work, perhaps it's positive affirmations. And you might be shaking your head saying, I don't want any of that woo-woo stuff. But they work. There is some scientific evidence that all of those things and the many other things that I've done to heal do work. The journaling, talking with somebody, rather than letting your past define you and kind of fester there, talking it out with somebody and sharing it. And maybe you don't want to keep remembering it. Maybe you just want to push it down, but that's not good for you. You might start seeing some health issues arise if you don't already have any by ignoring it. And I had some comments that when I first started sharing that, why would I dig up old bones? Why don't I just leave the past in the past? It happens. Don't look in the rearview mirror. Just let it go. It's back there. So for me, it was a healing journey in order to get myself to a place where I am today, which I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'll be honest with you. It also had to do a lot with my faith, which is number one. So it's taken me a long time to get to know me. Now, where I'm coming from now, when I start telling people, hey, you need to do this, this, and this, or what do you mean you don't meditate or do affirmations? Hello? Not everybody's heard of these things. Heck, I didn't hear of a lot of this stuff until I started my journey. I didn't know a lot of these things were even out there or existed. The authors, back when I started my journey, there weren't really podcasts out there. YouTube, yeah, that was, but there weren't a lot of videos that I'm aware of back then. They didn't have a lot of groups out there and pages like we have now where we can go ahead and support and come together as a community with one another. So I don't want to say it's a great time for the internet now, but in a sense it is, because there's so much more education out there and support and a sense of community. So maybe you don't want the neighbors to know what's going on behind closed doors. Whether maybe you've been raped, maybe you've been molested as a child, maybe you're going through some sort of physical abuse right now, maybe your boss is abusing you in some sort of way, belittling you or whatever it is, you're being bullied. This is a great way, and I'm not bragging on me here. I'm just saying as a whole, the community for the internet, the interweb is amazing for the support. There's so many other people, sadly, that are going through things similar to you. And it's tragic, but we can support each other. And I do love that. This amazing thing about the internet is this right here, the support that you can get from a sense of community. So getting to know yourself. Again, maybe you don't know what you like. Perhaps you don't know what you love. You might be thinking, well, I love tacos. I love ding dongs or something like that. No, I'm talking about deeper, and I'll dive into that in a few minutes. So getting to know you will help you discover what you want to accept in your life and to make your self-worth just shoot right on up there. So we're going to dig into some tips right now. So number one, first and foremost, take time to be still. Meditate, read your Bible, go ahead and pray, build a spiritual relationship. Maybe you don't have a Christ-centered relationship. That's fine. Whatever it is for you that makes you feel close to spiritualness, do that. Okay. I'm going to talk about God because Christ is my Lord and Savior, and that's what helped me. But whatever it is for you, do that. Find some time to give your spirit some TLC. Go ahead and do that for yourself. Whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half hour, an hour, whatever time you have to go ahead and build this foundation. It is so important to help you get healing for the rest of the things that I'm going to go through. It's so fundamental, and I can't stress out enough about how important this is. Finding that spiritual time for you. It'll help you in the long run with decisions that you have to make, people that you meet, and also choices that you want to make. So there are some resources that I can give you if you're looking to find maybe more of a Christian type of background. Maybe you want a personal relationship with Christ. You're not sure. I do have many people that can help you. You're more than welcome to message me privately. I'd love to chat with you myself, or I can refer you to some others. Tammy, my dear friend Tammy, and I'll put her link in the comments a little bit later, has a great book called Faint Whispers. There's so many times that even way back, I had questioned my faith and questioned, well, am I hearing God's voice or what am I hearing? She has a great book about getting to know the Lord and having that personal relationship. So that's number one. Number two, exercise. Now, moving your body, getting out in nature if you can. Maybe it's a treadmill, a YouTube. You can find so many other types of DVDs and so on, types of ways to exercise. But get your body moving. 5 minutes, if you only have 5 minutes, maybe you can spread it out throughout the day. Do squats while you're at the office. 5 minutes here or there, build it up to 20 minutes to a half hour, whatever it is to get that body flowing and to get it moving 3 to 4 times throughout the week. I'm not going to harp on what you should be doing. I'm not going to shake my finger and say, you have to do aerobics, nothing like that. Just get your body moving. It'll help your spirit, especially if you're depressed because of whatever you're going through right now. Maybe you're having a tough time with your ex, a toxic person in your life, whoever that might be. Getting your body moving will help boost your self-esteem because you might start seeing those inches. You'll start seeing some muscle coming out there. That is all going to help you too. Finding food that is healthy for you. Now, I'm not talking about those cupcakes. And, I admit I love to partake in tacos. I mentioned this in my group. We are now doing a girls' night in on Fridays in my group, Hope When There Was None group. So we're going to start doing that on Fridays if you are interested in that. It's a closed group for ladies only. Sorry, guys. But we're going to start doing a ladies' night in, and we're going to chat about topics that are near and dear. And I did mention tacos. And, of course, I did partake in a delicious caramel nut roll earlier today. So I can't really wag my finger, but I do try to make choices to where I have portion control. I also might only partake in having that juicy cinnamon roll or delicious cup of coffee from one of my favorite coffee places near me. I might only do that once a week. Okay, maybe twice, 3 times if I'm lucky. But the thing is, I don't deprive myself, but I try not to have it as often. Also, I know it's tempting, but try and limit those. Are you a people pleaser? I'm going on to number 3. Do you have trouble saying no to people? Are you constantly, if someone comes to you and say, hey, I need you to lead up this project, can you say no to them? Or are you constantly saying, yeah, I'll do it, even though you really want to say no? it can be so hard. Maybe you don't want to hurt the person's feelings. Maybe it's a boss and you feel like you can't say no at all. You know what you need to do? You need to start incorporating that word no. It's good for you. You shouldn't be afraid to voice your opinion. You shouldn't be afraid that you're going to hurt someone's feelings. Say no apologetically. It's good for you. It's good for communication with other people. And especially if you're just getting out of a traumatic relationship and you have always been so used to being put down and maybe not taken seriously, finding your voice again is so helpful. And that might mean saying no. It might mean saying no to your sister or your brother or your best friend. But say it. It's going to, because you might be saying yes so much that you might be overloading yourself. So please learn to say no. Now, going also onto the topic of what if somebody says something that hurts your feelings? Maybe you have somebody in your life that's kind of crusty or surly, and they might be joking around to them, but it hurts your feelings. Maybe they say something about your children, or hey, your dog's ugly, or your cat stinks, something like that, and it bothers you and it hurts your feelings, and you don't stand up for yourself. You need to stand up for yourself. You need to let people know that they've crossed that boundary, that you're not okay with whatever they're saying, or maybe whatever it is they're doing to you. You need to create boundaries if you don't already have some, and more than likely, if you're fresh out of a relationship, you might not have those boundaries. So learning what you want in your life, how you want to be treated in your life is very important. And when someone goes ahead and crosses those boundaries, you do need to let them know. Don't just let it go. You need to let them know, hey, I really don't appreciate the way you talked about my kid, or I don't really like it when you joke about my dog. Whatever it is, please let them know. It's good for your spirit. Again, this is going to make your self-worth. It's going to be slow, but you can do this. Honestly, you can do this. I believe in you. I know you can. Now, you wouldn't tell, like, let's say you have a sister or your best friend is going through a traumatic situation, maybe at a job, maybe a boyfriend, girlfriend, mom, or dad, or whatever the situation arises, and you give them advice. They come to you and they say, look, I'm getting picked on, or such and such is doing this. This isn't gossip, but they're telling you this situation happened and I'm hurt, I'm crying, I'm scared, whatever it is. What advice would you give them? Are you going to give them advice to leave the situation, ignore the person, ditch them? They don't need toxic people in their life. If that's something that you do, why don't you do that for yourself? If you don't, please think about doing so. And I can be honest with you, a lot of these things I didn't do. I had to learn how to find my self-worth, how to find my self-esteem. And I'm still taking great strides in order to rebuild myself. And I did have a truth bomb to somebody, and I know I mentioned this several times with a dear friend earlier this year, where I told her I had very little self-esteem. And sometimes I really feel cruddy about myself. And yeah, I'm admitting that to you. And now that might be a thing for me spiritually, where I need to go ahead and plead the blood of Christ over myself. And I might need to pray on that or get into my Bible. But for you, it might be that you have to wear a rubber band around your wrist. And anytime you have a negative thought about yourself, you go ahead and you snap that. Don't allow someone to come in, and I don't remember, I think it might have been Gandhi. Don't allow somebody with muddy feet to go through your mind. I think that's the quote. So don't allow them to come and bash you. Okay. So if someone's bashing you, if someone's talking bad about you, talk to your boss. If it's maybe a coworker, if it's your sister telling you that, they don't like you in your dresses or something, tell your mom, whoever it is, tell an authority. Okay. Give the same advice that you would give to a friend to yourself. Stop looking at your flaws. This is number 5. When you're looking in that mirror, because I'm going to talk about positive affirmations, I'm just going to combine these right now. So when you're doing those affirmations in the mirror, and if you haven't started, I really would love for you to try. And I know you might be thinking, well, it's no big deal to look in the mirror and tell myself I love myself. And I got to tell you, that was a very hard thing for me to do. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror and tell myself I love myself. All I could see in the mirror was my hairy chin, my crooked teeth, I can see the gray hairs coming in, and I would focus on them, and I wouldn't say the affirmations. And again, wearing that rubber band did help me too, anytime I thought negatively of myself, until the time, and it took several weeks for me to actually look into my eyes and tell myself that I love you. Now, you don't have to say, I love you. I am amazing. I am one with the universe. You don't have to do that. You can say, I'm a child of God. I am created in his favor. You can make this more of a Christian thing if you'd like to. Spin it whatever you would like, but just do it in a positive way. Maybe you want to say that everything I touch turns to gold, or I am amazing. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't remember. I am empowering. I have an amazing life. Whatever it is, start thinking it, start talking about it. But also, while you're doing that, don't go. Let's say you say all these wonderful affirmations. Let's say you pray and you're saying, you know what, thank you, Lord, or thank you, universe, for providing my next best great idea. And I know I'm going to be a rock star at work today. And thank you for that. Now, don't go talking to your girlfriend in the next breath if she calls or he calls and they start saying, well, you know, I had a rotten time at work. I don't think I'm going anywhere at work. And you turn around and you say, you know what? I think you are right. I feel the same way. All that great work you just did in the mirror or that you prayed about, you might as well just kiss that goodbye, because you're bringing in that negativity again. So I want when you pray, when you do vision work, let's say vision boards, because I love doing vision boards as well. When you do these affirmations, start believing it, start thinking it. This might mean you may have to, I'm kind of combining some of my things here for the self-worth. It might mean that you get rid of toxic people in your life. Now, by toxic people, I don't mean that it's somebody that's necessarily mean to you or bad to you in a sense that they're being physical or emotional or mental. It might be somebody that's doing drugs, or maybe you hit the bars with them every so often and you're out late, and maybe you miss work, or maybe it's a gambling issue. Maybe it's a porn addiction. Perhaps it's something else that you're kind of leery about, but you do it anyway. It goes back to being that yes person. Say no. You can break these chains. It's all on you. You can do this. You can do anything you put your mind to. And I believe in you. I know you can do this. So it might mean you have to get rid of that toxic person in your life that is taking you to the bars, that's keeping you out all at night, that is maybe they are saying, well, we're going to go to the buffet. And you really don't want to go to the buffet because you're not really, you want to lose weight. You want to get healthy, or maybe you want to go to the gym and they keep saying, well, no, let's go do this instead. You need to go ahead and maybe surround yourself with more positive people. Find Sally that goes to the gym, and or Bob. Have an accountability person that you can be with, and they can inspire you and uplift you and motivate you too. That is something remarkable that you need to do. And I'm sorry, something that you can do. It's going to inspire, it's going to uplift you, it's going to motivate you to keep going. So you might need that person to help you on out with that. And don't be afraid to share these things with that person. If you need somebody to maybe just confide in, you know, I don't always think I look good. If you hear me mention that, hey, I don't look good in this dress, as an example, you can tell that to them. Say, anytime you hear me talk negatively of myself, can you just maybe send me a reminder or just nudge me or something like that? Excuse me. And maybe they can help you with that. Now, we have a tendency to, sorry, let me go back. Now, while you're not picking on your flaws, stop doing that. Don't pick on anybody else's flaws. Now, perhaps a person is down on their luck right now. Maybe they've hit a big failure in their life. Maybe they're going into foreclosure or something like that. Maybe it's not a physical thing about looks or anything like that, but it's so quick to judge another person that's going through a hard time. So please don't gossip. Usually when we gossip with another person, and I'll be honest, I've done it myself. I'm sure there's other people too that have done this. When we start gossiping, we also get tied to other gossips. And then pretty soon they might be talking about you. So just break that right now. Break that habit. Don't go talking about anybody else, especially if you don't want that to turn around and come back to you. You don't need that. I've always tried to say, if I hear a hearsay, like let's say, oh, such and such is her husband's cheating on him. Well, I'll go to what's her name and say, you know what? And I could be a weirdo by doing this, but say, hey, I heard this. Is there any truth to whatever it is that I heard? I don't want to gossip, but I've heard this. And I'm not going to tell the person, oh, I heard this from Mary and so on and so on. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to come to them and say, hey, I heard this information. I'm not going to tell you who it is if they press me. I'm not going to go there where I heard it, but I want to find out if there's any truth. Can I help you with something? Or do you have a need or something? Do you need to talk? Do that. I would rather you do that than just keep that gossip, that big lie or whatever it is going. You might find some truth instead of the lies. So be a supporter, even if you don't like this person, even if it's the girl that everyone's grumpy with, that, she has smelly feet or whatever it is. We're not going to judge those flaws. We're not going to care about her feet. And we're going to go ahead and say, hey, I still care about you as a human being. I don't know what's going on in your life, how you got those smelly feet or whatever you need support with. And I'm just using examples. Again, I'm getting a little loopy. It's a little late. So again, don't be so quick to judge. Now, we have a tendency, again, let me go back, to take care of everybody else, but not ourselves. We rarely make time for us. So do me a favor, schedule in some time for you. And by that, it might be just 5 minutes where you're in the prayer closet and that's all you get, but take that 5 minutes and run with it. Do a journal. I had on Dana not too long ago. Dana, if you can find that, I think I posted it here. It's in another video where she talks about a 5-minute journal lesson. So do that for 5 minutes and you just ask your questions. What do I need to do in life? What should I do today? What goals should I be looking at? Think of some questions that you might have and just set the timer for 5 minutes and write. Maybe you don't write questions like that. Maybe you just say, I have these things I want to do today, or such and such is sick and I need clarity on whatever it is. Write it down. 5 minutes. It doesn't take that long. Get a spiral notebook. School's starting all over the place in states right now. So get yourself a spiral notebook and just start jotting some things down and try this for a little bit of time. Okay. I'm saying at least try it for a week, but I'm hoping you'll keep doing it. It's very therapeutic for yourself and you'll learn a lot about yourself by just writing. I'm telling you, don't think about it, just write. Now, read the book. Pencil in that time with yourself if you have to, if you're so busy. I talked with a gal yesterday. She works 16 hours a day. And I was just amazed at that. And I'm sure she's not alone. I'm sure there are other men and women out there that do have that crazy schedule where they are lucky if they can find sleep throughout the day. So try and take some time for yourself. You need to love yourself. It's good for your sanity. You might be a little grumpy. We've had this situation in our own household recently where Mr. Awesome, my husband, had mentioned to me yesterday, he's like, I think I need a hobby. I know maybe I haven't shared with you. We're hoping to get an Airbnb going next year, and he's hoping to retire. So we're hoping whatever we make from that will help offset the loss and so on. So I'm scrambling for things to do. I mentioned the Airbnb earlier this year with him, and I'm also looking into social media management. I'm trying to figure out, I do the antiques on the side. I do the books. I do the notebooks on Amazon. So I'm trying to scramble to find ways in order to make money for us. Speaking, I get for speaking engagements, I might get something for that, but a lot of times I just do those for free. So I'm trying to find something in order to supplement our income. So he's feeling a little overwhelmed because we have this old house. And I know I'm getting a little personal off track. But we have this old house. And honestly, I'm telling you the story because it means something. This house it's crazy. And when someone new comes over, I tell them, please don't be afraid. I mean, it might look like the Freddy Krueger scary house. It has charm with me, and I love my house. Yeah, there's pans in my attic. Yeah, we need a roof in a bad way, and I am doing a vision board on house repair, by the way. It seemed like one after another, things have been going wrong. Things have been going a little wonky and sideways. Lawnmower, we needed a new lawnmower. Our nest egg is gone, so we're scrambling right now trying to Band-Aid things and put things together. And we've lost chickens. We've lost, I think, what did I say, 6? No, we've lost 12 chickens and ducks from foxes and hawks over the past few months. So that really hurt because we were doing eggs. We were selling eggs to different people. That was a little side business. My garden that I have going on hasn't produced anything this year. We lost a lot due to, Dan the goat ate a lot of our grapes, and also Japanese beetle invasion. So I've got a few handful of green tomatoes, a lot of weeds. Going back to the story, why this is important, Mr. Awesome feels so overwhelmed. God bless him, because he has a little bit of time in the morning. He does a project or at night, then he goes to work and he comes home and he sleeps. I mean, the window for the time that he has is very little. I do the cleaning, I do whatever I can, but as I've mentioned before, I have Lyme disease, I have chronic Lyme. If you don't already know, you know now. And it leaves me very tired. And again, I am saying my affirmations every day, and every way I'm getting better and better. And I am so much better than so many other people are out there. And I just feel it's a blessing that I am sitting here right now when I was walking with a cane and having Mr. Awesome dress me and almost feed me at a certain point back in 2015. So I've come a long way, but I can't help him as I would like to. I do have a fear of power tools, and it is irrational. My ex would chase me around with power tools, saying he was going to slit my throat, he was going to cut off my head, that he would cut off my fingers and my arms or whatever. I'm trying not to get emotional, but that stuff scared me so much that power tools freak me out. And I know it's irrational. And I know that Terry is not going to hurt me. I know this in my mind, but these are things that still stick with me. So I shouldn't say can't, because I always tell my kids can't isn't in our vocabulary. I just haven't gotten quite over that hump to help them like I could. Now give me glue and glitter. I can go ahead and fix anything with glue, glitter, some fake flowers, but to do the work that he's doing, I don't have that vision like he does. I have a different vision. So he's feeling overwhelmed. That's where I'm going with this. He's like, I need to take time for me. I don't take time for me. I don't do anything. I might read a little bit. I might go sit at a restaurant, but I don't take the time that I need for me. So he's like, I think I need to do something. So whether it is that he goes shooting at the gun range, maybe it is that he wants to learn blacksmithing. Maybe he learns that. Maybe he connects with his buddy and they go hunting or fishing, or maybe he just takes Mini-Man out to do something like that. But we talked about how important it is for him, even as a guy. Guys need this too, to get back in touch, because all of us need a little self-care, self-love, not just if you're an abuse survivor or traumatic survivor of some sort of episode. All of us need this time for us. We are so busy in our lives. We need to take time to give each of us a little bit of love. Give yourself a hug. You do need this. So again, we have a tendency to go ahead and take care of everybody else, but you need to take time for you. Again, 5 minutes self-care. That's as easy as you can do it, okay? Now, express gratitude for this time that you have with yourself. Go ahead, binge on Netflix if you need to take a day and just catch up with whatever story you're watching. Do that. Read a book. Go for a walk. Go out with a girlfriend. Do something you've always wanted to do, which is into my next one. Learn something new. It's by learning something new. Perhaps you've always wanted to learn a new language. I'm Mexican. I'm probably the whitest Mexican you'll ever meet. And I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, but you wouldn't guess. I've been claimed by the Italians, by the Greeks, and whatever else. I don't know Spanish. I don't know Spanish at all. I know if you're cursing at me, though, I know the bad words, so don't do that. But I don't know Spanish. I know a little bit to get me by, but I don't know a lot. So I would love to learn Spanish. I would love to learn. I got into hooking, and by hooking, I mean primitive rug hooking. And I know that everyone jokes about that when I mention I'm getting into hooking. So it's primitive rug hooking. It's not the latch hook. If you go ahead and Google primitive rug hooking, that's what I'm getting into. There is a group that meets locally. I'm in Northwest Indiana, and I was so excited to find them. They're a little bit of a drive for me, about a 45-minute drive up north, but that's okay. I'm good with that. They meet at a local library. I'm pretty excited about that because I'm really interested in learning this. I love all the old handicrafts. So get into something that you would always wanted to learn. Maybe it's crocheting. I taught myself how to crochet a couple of years ago, so I can do your single and your double stitch. My first blanket, it looks like this. Kind of looks like me. It's just, and then my prayer shawl that I made, it it's the size of a twin bed. It's huge. It goes from one end to the other, and it's not as wide as a twin bed, but it is long and probably longer than a twin bed. But I still like it because I made it. So get into a new hobby. Maybe your work has some sort of incentive, or maybe they have free things for you where you can go ahead and learn, like, let's say, word processing. Maybe you can learn Excel. Maybe you can learn some other sort of tool that's there that'll help you into creating a new career for yourself. And maybe it's some other task that you've always wanted to learn. Perhaps you've always wanted to beekeep and you wanted to learn how to do that. Get yourself with a local beekeeping group. Whatever it is, make sure that you do it regularly. Again, if you have to schedule this in for yourself daily or maybe every other week or so, just do it. Keep your mind and your hands busy. This helps when you are especially in a stressful situation. When you're in that stressful moment, sometimes it's like this. You have blinders to everything else, or you have that tunnel vision. You're just focusing on that X or whatever the traumatic event happened in your life, and you can't think about anything else. That might be a memory. It might be something that you're always seeing. Keeping yourself busy, your mind on maybe journaling or watching those healing videos, podcasts. Find those inspirational books. It doesn't have to be about abuse or emotional trauma. It can be, find Tony Robbins online. Find someone mentioned to me Dr. Caroline Leaf. Find videos with her about the brain. And also, oh gosh, there's so many. I do have a list of other people. If you'd like to know about that, please message me privately. I do have some other books too. And it's not all about, again, the trauma. Find something inspirational for yourself, because sometimes when we go into those groups or read a lot about narcissism and so on like that, it can really bring you down. It can also bring those memories right up there, right up close into your face there. And that might set you off for a lot of panic attacks, anxiety attacks, or just trigger you for the rest of your day. So try to take yourself on a social media break from time to time on those groups. And even this page, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Really take the time for yourself. It's a good way to heal. Is you might need to find another ritual in order, or just step away from the negativity just for a little while. Maybe turn on some positive music. It might be classical. Maybe you like rap or something like that, but maybe take a break and listen to something else. Maybe jazzy. You might find you like a different genre. Maybe something that's not so heavy than maybe heavy rock or acid rock or something like that. Find something different. I go back to classical. I've always grown up on music. That I can give to my stepdad, my very first one. He taught me so much about different music. I mean, even though we had good times, classical music, jazz, I have a very well-rounded appreciation for different kinds of music, chamber music, dulcimer. I love the dulcimer. And I know that sounds so weird. And bagpipes. I love bagpipes. I don't know, the dulcimer and bagpipes and flutes. I don't know. I don't do opera, but I'll listen to opera. I love classical, jazz, Christian, older hymns, that sort of thing. But, I don't always listen to mainstream music. I do every once in a while. I might find a tune, but I try and listen to something that raises my spirit, raises my vibration. A lot of these things will raise your vibration. Now, I'm not trying to sound really crazy or woo-woo with that, but you do need something to lift you up, lift your spirit up, and a lot of these things will help you do so. So whatever brought you here to this video, to my page today, it does not define you. Whatever that act was that causes you right now to have the panic attacks, to have the bad dreams, to have the anger, those raw emotions, that's not you. It's not your fault. That is a chapter in your book. That is a part of you. It's a part of your story, but it doesn't need to stay that story. You can write a new chapter. You can write a new book. You can write a new volume. You can kick that to the curb. I'm not saying you're going to forget it, because you won't. You won't, no matter what. You won't. You'll always remember. But you don't have to bring that bitterness, that anger, that hatred, that shame forward. We're going to start a new day, new slate. Every day's a new slate. Every day's a new day. Think of it when you wake up, think of it in a good sense. Don't think, man, this is going to be a crappy day. It's raining outside. No. Hey, it's raining outside. Thank goodness the plants, the crops need it. We need more water to go ahead and water my garden, something of that nature instead. Think about that. Don't think of it in a bad way, a poor way. Oh, I stubbed my toe. Dang it, now the rest of the day is going to be this way. No, you stubbed your toe. Well, you just weren't looking, you weren't paying attention. And I've done this myself. My poor baby toe got injured on a cart. Sometimes I feel like I've just gone through this last couple of weeks very accident prone. I sprained my ankle. What else did I do? I was telling the girls a little bit ago, I sprained my ankle. Oh, I thought I pulled my neck, but it was actually my shoulder. This has just been over the past month. And it just, anyway, I digress. So don't carry this on with you going forward, okay? You might even consider writing a letter to whatever person hurt you. Now, I'm saying write it. You don't have to send it to the person. You don't have to ever tell them you wrote them a letter. Just get at whatever emotions, whatever you're feeling. Go ahead and journal about the past, whatever you want to do. You can tear it up. You can rip it. You can burn it. You can burn it at your altar, give it to God, whatever you want to do. You can hold on to it. You don't ever have to mail it. But get all those emotions, get all of that out. Get it all out on paper. Pretend like you're talking with that person and get it all out, all that frustration, all that anger. Again, you don't have to give it to the person. You might be like, oh, well, then I have to mail it. No, you don't. They never have to know. This is just between you and your maker. Nobody else has to know. Your kids don't have to know. Your neighbors don't have to know. Your best friend doesn't have to know. But you'll know. You'll know inside. And this isn't necessarily a forgiveness thing that you're saying, well, I forgive you. You can do that if you want to. I did that, and I did that verbally too, and he just laughed at me. But I did that. And if you do this with a forgiveness, if you've seen my videos with Wendy, she has a whole bunch to say about forgiveness. I won't go there, but I'm going to have her back on sometime soon. Get help by talking with a counselor or a therapist. Share with a friend. Share with somebody that you feel safe with. So if you're going through this traumatic replay in your mind about whatever happened to you, please talk to somebody that's trusted, that you love and care about, and you can trust. Find a tribe that's positive. So I did talk to you about those toxic people. Find friends, again, that are goal-minded, that will allow you to think, and that'll give you space as well. You might not want to hurt friends that are currently in your tribe, but you have to surround yourself with someone that's going to support you and lift you up. Again, if you're hanging out with those people that all they do is go out and party, and you're just not feeling it, you feel down after you come home from that, please consider just a new lifestyle. Start reaching out to people on Facebook even that you want to maybe aspire to. Maybe it's to somebody down the street that does motivational speaking and you want to do that. Maybe it's to another author and you want to write your story. Message them. We're all just people, just like you. Message them. Ask them for help, and maybe not necessarily help. Hey, I've got this problem, but help to start. Maybe they have some tips for you to get started as an author. Maybe they have some tips for you on how to heal. You just have to ask. There's Mini Man. So you just need to ask. But surrounding yourself with positive people is going to help you from falling into that bad cycle or that poor cycle. It'll really raise your vibration up. It'll raise your spirits up. Now, again, practice those affirmations. Look at your beautiful self and stop those negative voices in your mind. And it can be so hard to stop that chatter. Again, I've mentioned before, wearing a rubber band around your wrist can help. Anytime you have say something negative in your mind or about yourself.
I know the
In the video, his face looks funny. So snap that anytime that you are getting really down about yourself. I think that's about all I have. If you are interested in finding out more how to have a personal relationship with the Lord, by all means, please feel free to message me, or I can connect you with somebody that can help you. You can also, I will go ahead and put Tammy's book in the links in a little bit. And my little helper.
I'm nagging.
Okay, let me finish up. Okay, cutie.
Okay.
And then also, if you are in an abusive relationship right now and you need help, you don't know who to talk to, Besides reaching out to the hotline.org or Safe Horizon, you can always message me. I'm happy to listen. There's no judgment. We are all in this journey together on this big rock of ours. I'm not going to go ahead and tell anybody what you say. It's all confidential. Maybe you would like to share your story and aren't sure how to do that. But you don't want to do it to the public, and that's fine. You can always email me privately. I'm happy to share your story as a different name, like let's say, just Sally or Joe, whichever it is. I think that's about it. I'm being summoned, I think, to get downstairs pretty soon. Otherwise, the musical is going to start soon.
Yeah.
If you have any other comments or questions, by all means, feel free again to message me.
See you later.
See you later.